If you were to ask the masses today about the Mini, this would be the car that most people would come up with. Well, that's what time and generational change can do. But the Mini Cooper's had a long and prestigious and almost cult-like following. I'm Michelle Rahal with the Drive Channel and thedrivechannel.com. Last episode, it was the German-tuned Chevrolet Camaro that they dubbed the Black Cat. Today, let's look at the Mini Cooper and ultimately the BMW Mini World Rally Championship car. And yes, they're going to offer this car as a street version. The Mini Cooper began its production in 1959 as a small, lightweight car with a really low center of gravity, stiff suspension, which was a result of the rubber cones they used instead of springs, and 10-inch wheels. A classic was born. My family owned a Cooper S, and all I can say is that this car was a go-kart on the street. It was ridiculously fast, cornered like a race car, and it looked bizarre. My sister, B.J. Rahal, actually won a national rally in it. Needless to say, it was an immediate hit with the masses. The car evolved over the years as a result of numerous company owners, and in the British car world, there's nothing unusual about that. On the other hand, these little rocket ships not only got you from A to B in a hurry, but they did it in an odd sense of style. As these cars progressed over the decades, BMW took over ownership of the marque in 2000, and the BMW Mini was born. It kept the general style of the original Mini Cooper, but employed much higher-end technology. The BMW version of this car has undergone two evolutions that have all been strong sellers, even at a much higher price than the originals. But they handle. They have high-revving engines, short-throw gearboxes, and they themselves have become modern-day classic. This brings us to the newest version of this car, the Mini Countryman World Rally Championship contender. The images you see are of the competition version of the car introduced at the Paris Auto Show. But now they have already floated the rumor that a street version of this car is going to be produced. What that really means is you can be guaranteed it's going to be produced. The specs on this car are impressive. Permanent four-wheel drive. That's a huge thumbs up in my book. A 6-speed sequential gearbox. I'm in love with that. A direct injection BMW 1.6-liter turbocharged engine. Now, no horsepower figures have been released yet, but with the John Cooper special at 183 horsepower, you should expect somewhere in the 220 to 240 horsepower for the road-going version. The racing version that you see, anywhere between 300 and 325 horsepower, and in a car this small, it'll tear your hair out with acceleration, which means I probably shouldn't drive one. Personally, having grown up with these type of cars, I was lucky enough to see the potential then, and I can see the light now. Over 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive in a car that weighs next to nothing, a sequential shifter. Now, don't let me mislead you. This car isn't going to be cheap. But then if people are willing to pay $50,000 for a midget Aston Martin like this Aston Signet, what the hell? Go all the way. For the Drive Channel and thedrivechannel.com, I'm Michelle Rahal. Next on the hit list, something a little bit different. It's the new 2011 Ferrari Formula One car. They call it the F-150. That should make Ford happy.